Alrighty, so I've gone ahead and rewatched some Star Wars content over the past year. All right, and former Star Wars fan, if you didn't watch my solo review, I just got done that, so I'm gonna be editing that, uploading that, and we move right on to the next thing I want to review. And if you've seen the title of the video, probably says a review of Skeleton Crew. All right, and we'll get into that in a minute. These are all this just for context, so you understand where my review process is. These are the shows I've watched. I put the GOATs here as the GOAT show and the GOAT movie. I think the greatest of all time show for Star Wars is by far Clone Wars. I don't even think it's fucking close. I think the greatest of all time film is Revenge of the Sith, and I think it's kind of close, but I put Revenge of the Sith above them. Mainly because I'm in it for fight scenes, I'm in it for war, I'm in it for chaos, I'm in it for death and destruction. Okay, so Revenge of the Sith gets that edge for me. Return of the Jedi, very, very good, very, very well done. Ages pretty well, the sail barge arc, I guess. Sail barge is one of my favorite, mobile vehicles, mobile houses. I don't know what the fuck you classify a sail barge, but sail barge area is one of my favorite things. You have the Sarlacc pit, you have Boba Fett, you have everything going on with that. You have Luke Skywalker not being pretty useless as a Jedi and actually having success, so that's pretty good. You got a lot of great moments in it, so I got a lot of respect for the film. Definitely up there. And then we have Empire Strikes Back. It's good, and you know what? It could go in perfection, to be honest with you, but I personally rate it above the rest of the other good things. This is 7 out of 10, aka 7 to 9. It's kind of where I'd rate them. So it could be like an 8 out of 10, maybe 8.9 is probably where I put it, but it's just not that 9 yet. Just because Return of the Jedi just has so much peaks, and the conclusions to the Darth Vader and Palpatine and Luke Skywalker's whole story I thought was amazing. You get Jedi ghosts. What else can you say? I mean, I guess Empire Strikes Back, you get something like that, right? Because Empire Strikes Back is when he goes to Dagobah. So, but yeah, I thought the Hoth, everything like that, great war, love it. Phantom Menace has Darth Maul. And if you've seen any of my Star Wars content, Darth Maul's my favorite. Even him being there for about 10-15 minutes, it just makes it cinema. The fight scenes, by far, hold up to the test of time. Fucking amazing. I remember watching this as a kid. One of my favorite films. Obsessed with Darth Maul ever since. Saw the arcs in Clone Wars when I was a wee lad. Favorite character, by far, not even close. I even have fucking... I bought a bunch of the Ambush on Mandalore packs. Haven't even watched Mandalorian, but they're Mandalorians, if you know what I mean. Lego ball knowledgers know what I'm talking about here. But yeah, these figs are absolutely elite, by the way. Just, I'm not sponsored by Lego or anything, but oh my god. Oh my god, just look at the detail. It's a little blurry right now, but you get my point. Anyways, but yeah, even as a kid, I had a bunch of the Ambush on Mandalore, or I don't know what they're called, Mandalore battle packs. I had a couple of these. I love Mandalorians, hence why, Clone Wars is so high, but, yeah, I love Darth Maul as well. Darth Maul conquering Mandalore gives it a whole plus. But yeah, even without the Darth Maul arc, though, I don't mind, Anakin being a slave and being bought and gambled by a Jedi. Obviously, it has those bad moments, like when Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan used fucking forced jump speed in the Trade Federation ship. That part I just thought was stupid, and I just remove it out of my brain as canon. Then you have Episode 2. A lot of people call it boring. I find it pretty alright, for a 2.5-hour movie. I think it serves its purpose pretty well. I don't really care about I never liked sand arc. I don't really care about that whole Naboo arc. I don't in context. I don't even think it's that bad of a scene. Maybe my Riz just ain't. It's not as good as, pulling Duchess Satine like Obi-Wan Kenobi, but, my Riz gets it done, okay? But, yeah, I'm just, I don't really find it too bad. I don't find any bad moments. I thought Zam Wessel scene, I get it's bounty hunter hires a bounty hunter who hires a bounty hunter who was ordered all the way back from the top brass, I get that part, and then they use a fucking creature to go in there, so they order a creature to do their orders, who they themselves got orders from, but I don't mind it, you know? I thought the Zam chase was I thought, you know, the Death Sticks arc was, like, fine. And by arc, I just mean, like, the Zam stuff. Them going Camino, that was fine. I think the clone, them being 3 million clones or whatever, I think is, I'm not, like, too hard pressed on that either. Yeah, I'm completely fine with it. Them using Jango Fett. I'm not even, like, a Jango Fett fan or anything. I just, you know, you have the seismic charge, one of the best fucking audible noises of all time, but yeah, and then you have you have New Hope, started off everything, but overall I think it doesn't really have a lot of those great moments in it that, like, set itself from the rest other than starting everything. Like Tantive hallway with Vader, sick. Delivering the message to Obi-Wan finding Anakin, everything like that, but it definitely feels like the oldest. Costumes feel a little bit older. A lot of the, and by older I just mean, like, not very pleasing to see, you know? Like, some of the costumes just don't look that good from back in the day, and that's just because there's no, like, real CGI and stuff like that, right? So they're using a lot of real stuff for most of it, but you know, I thought overall it's pretty good. It's not like my favorite film of all time. I get why people like it. It's good. It's not, like, bad. Definitely still better than pretty much everything that has come out today that I've watched so far. Rogue One, thought was pretty good. There was moments where I didn't like. I don't like the Rogue One scene where they're dropping, whoa, who's this? Who's flying this fighter? Who's doing this? And they're like, Rogue One. Like, I just hated that scene. That was terrible. Lost aura points for me, personally. The blind man who had, like, semi-force sensitive abilities, I thought was fucking retarded. I'm not a fan of that either. But they could have just not had him, and it would have been a little bit better in my opinion. I would have been the same, because it's not like he really did anything. It's not like he taught someone the Force. It's just he was a monk. But I wasn't really that big of a fan. I think it was a former Jedi Temple guard, something like that. So kind of redeems himself with that aura right there, you know. Former Jedi Temple guard is pretty fucking sick. But yeah, overall I just thought it was, like, all right, nothing too crazy. You know, you had Krennic, bro. You had Darth Vader. I forgot about that Darth Vader choking out Krennic. That was sick, you know. So it had a lot of good moments. Bro, and at the end, they recreated the Tantive hallway scene. I completely forgot about that. But they also, I didn't like the ending personally, just because people died. But I think that's sort of, sometimes it's the point to not like the ending because of the way it ended up, because it makes you feel like, damn, these motherfuckers died. You know, why did these motherfuckers die? Why did they have to die? You know, but, like, that's sort of the point, because you got emotionally attached to, like, I think his name's Andor, and what is her name? Just Rogue? I don't remember her name, but yeah, and then Saw Gerrera, obviously you have that moment, and then fucking Nuke going off. Some good moments in Rogue One, you know? And if you genuinely had Rogue One a little bit higher, I wouldn't disagree with you. I personally wouldn't put it below her than these two, in my opinion. Solo, just talked about it. Pretty good movie. I don't have nostalgia for Han Solo. I don't have nostalgia for Solo. I just thought Lando was played really well. I thought it did a lot of things well. Plot twists were okay with the lady being on the ship, because I thought it was going to be very easy to be like, okay, Han Solo's going to fake being in the military, get a ship, go back to the planet, pick up the girl, get out. But it ended up being, oh shit, he found the girl on a bounty hunter ship. You know, he's working for the guy now, and, you know, they're betrothed and all this other stuff going on. So I thought that was fine. It did a lot of things wrong, like having, or it did some things wrong, like having that droid. That droid is fucking annoying, trying to fuck Lando Calrissian. What are we doing? And then also the droid yucky. But, you know, I thought Tobias Beckett was alright. Him doing the double crossing multiple times, I thought that was alright. I thought the whole intro with, like, Rio and Beckett's fucking girl, I thought those were alright parts. Them pretending to be Mud Troopers. Mud Trooper arc, pretty fine, even though it felt a little low budget with how they were having smoke everywhere. And it just felt like you couldn't see the background. You know, I get it. Movies cost money. But yeah, it's just a little interesting there. And overall, there's a lot of moments where it's like, oh, okay, we're going to do a generic thing that I'm going to be able to predict what happens. Oh, he's being sent into the pit of the beast. Wow. It's not like Luke Skywalker did that. Whoa. You know, in the fucking Rancor pit, you know, but then it ended up being a nice surprise. There being a Wookiee, you know, being in there, and Han Solo somehow knowing how to speak Wookiee, even though he comes from the slums on some bootleg planet. But hey, you know, hey, maybe you just studied, you know? So, yeah, I didn't mind it personally. I don't have like a bias. I'm not fucking, obviously I'm not being paid, but I thought it was an alright movie. I think it gets maybe a little bit too much hate. Every time I hear someone talk about the movie, they shit on it. I don't think it's that bad. You know, I don't think it's that bad. You know, maybe it deserves more like a 6.5 than a 7, but I'd put it a 7. I'd definitely watch it, but Rebels wasn't really a fan. Most of the stuff I didn't care about. General Thrawn's arc, didn't really think that was that cool. What was that fucking Sideburn character? I can't remember his name. But that guy, maybe I gotta rewatch, maybe I gotta do some research and rewatch this a little bit, but wasn't really a fan of most of the characters. Didn't like Ezra, didn't like Hera, didn't like Sabine. I didn't like any of these characters, to be honest. Not even Chopper, you know? Definitely thought like fucking K2SO is a better droid than Chopper. My personal opinion, maybe that's a hot take. But yeah, just not really a huge fan of Rebels. Maybe I need to rewatch it. Does have Darth Maul in it, but I felt like the conclusion of Darth Maul was sick. Felt like the lead up was like kind of odd. Didn't really make sense. But yeah, then you have the Clone Wars movie. This is pure nostalgia. I love the Clone Wars movies because I always watched it as a kid. I had it ingrained into my skull. You know, Rot of the Hutt. You had the fucking the whole scene where they're going to the back dealing with the generators and those droids come from the ground. To this day, one of my most fond memories was watching that. But yeah, you know, introducing Ahsoka. You had those clones that would run up and punch the droids. Bro, you had so many aura moments. I'm just saying, okay? The clone Phase 1 fucking troopers, alright, in the Clone Wars movie had aura, alright? They had motion. They were moving different, okay? But, yeah. And then, obviously, the sequel trilogies can get the fuck out of my Star Wars. I don't consider them canon. I won't ever consider them canon. I genuinely hope Episode 10 starts with Rey waking up on a desert planet being like, damn, that was a crazy dream I had for that last 6 hours. These movies are fucking terrible. Plot points, terrible. Characters, terrible. Kylo Ren, dog shit. Finn, terrible. Rey, obviously dog shit. They kill off all the good characters like Han Solo. Chewie's just left to be sat in a cuck chair for 3 episodes. What the fuck are we doing as a company? Letting Chewbacca just do nothing for 3 episodes. And then obviously all that Force bullshit with like Leia just coming back from space. Like, just put the fries in the bag, Star Wars. Get the shit out of here. I watched this for my first time. I have the reactions. I have the full breakdowns if you want to check it out on my channel. Feel free to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell if you want more content. I keep it very passionate based on this channel. So anything I'm passionate about, you'll see content about. But yeah, we go on 13 minutes into this video about the show we're about to discuss, and we're talking about Skeleton Crew. Now, I have no bias towards Skeleton Crew. I saw it was coming out last year. I went a little bit on a Star Wars hiatus. Went into like an anime arc. Rewatched a lot of animes. Got back into a lot more video games. But I've since came back and I've watched the Skeleton Crew. Banged out all 8 episodes, I believe, yesterday, I want to say. Yeah. Banged it all out yesterday. 8 episodes. 40 minutes a piece. It's not like that bad. It's not that bad. It's not bad. Like, the thing is, episode 1 was a little, like, I was a little thrown off, I'll be honest. Because when I saw it, I thought it was going to be like, oh, okay, kids get lost, this guy finds them, and this guy brings them back to their family. Whoop-de-fucking-do, don't care. You know, another kid show. The first episode kind of came out with fucking heat. If I remember correctly, the first episode was like, bro, them invading, like, this is, by the way, for time period's sake, this is, like, just after Return of the Jedi, so this is, like, Darth Vader just died, Death Star blew up, Republic sort of trying to get control of the planets again. I'm pretty sure, I want to say, that's the era we're talking about here. But regardless, Yeah, I mean, this guy is like on a pirate ship, got a whole fucking crew, and they go and invade like a rebel cruiser, or I guess they would be a Republic cruiser at this point, and they try to like invade, and bro, they're like killing people left and right. Fucking, I think one of them like stabs some other people, and like you see fucking heads roll. Like, bro, it gets violent in the first episode of Skeleton Crew. For something that I was set to believe was a kids show. Definitely is a kids show, by the way. Don't get it twisted. But first episode was definitely a tone shift that I was not expecting. And then we get to the planet. Planets are doing their thing, you know. You have a kid who is addicted to Jedi. Maybe he just likes the Jedi. From the old tales, I guess, because the whole idea is that it's separated from society and like it's its own planet, making currency for the rest of the galaxy. Well, no one's really allowed in and no one's really allowed out. But yeah, I thought like it was all right. Like the kids going to school and everything, fucking around. Neil the goat, all right, you know. Neil whipping out the fucking fake lightsaber with his homie and just doing with his boys. Hey, that brought back flashbacks from when I was in school, bro. I can't tell you how many cringe fucking stories I have of playing pretend with fucking kids in the playground. Holy shit, man. That's maybe. Hey, I'll save that for the Joe Rogan podcast. But holy shit, man. Those are some wild times. But yeah, you know, Neil fucking around, being a little like, he'll just do whatever his homie says, you know. Then you have the rebellious kids, the Lobot chick, I don't remember her name. KB, I remember her name. You had KB, Fern, I want to say it was Fern, which just reminds me of Free Ren. And then you have Win and Neil. I remember all the kids' names. Hey, let's go. I'm normally terrible at remembering names, but yeah, Neil, even though he looks like he's Max Rebo, he definitely isn't one of his kind, because if I'm not mistaken, Max Rebo is... Doesn't he just have, like, feet? Like, aren't those just feet? Like, I don't think he has, like, actual legs, right? Like, those... Yeah, that's a crazy image, by the way. Holy shit. God damn. Yeah, I don't know how the fuck Neil is this species, but I guess it works. But yeah, I thought like he's cool, you know. I didn't think any of the kids were that annoying. They were all very generic in terms of like you could tell who the boss was in the friend group, and you could tell the other ones kind of just like follow them around and do what they say. But they end up finding something they thought was a Jedi temple. Well, at least the kid, like Win did. And then they get it open via Lobot fucking daughter, aka KB. She's able to open up the hatch. They get in, accidentally activate the ship. Ship goes in space. And then one of the droids wake up. The droid was actually sick. I will say the droid is carrying a lot of the show. Without that droid, the show is probably in bad. But I'd put it maybe in I put it above Rebels. I put it behind Rebels. I wouldn't rewatch it over Rebels. But I think it's like Rebels tier. You know? It's not bad. Yeah, but they end up going to like a pirate station. The pirate station, they don't really know what they're doing. They're fucking around a little too much. They flex their money by mistake. Bunch of pirates are like, ooh, where'd you get all that money? And they end up going to prison. There's just a few things I didn't like about the show as a whole, but the main plot point is it was a little bit different, you know? It was pirate ship gets sent into space. They go to a port. It felt a lot like they tried to put Pirates of the Caribbean's Star Wars, and there was another show I was thinking of, and I've completely gapped it. But yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean, Star Wars. It's kind of what they went for. You know, a lot of the things felt like, you know, there was a lot of double crossing. There was a lot of like, wait. Listen to me, boys, okay? I can show you riches, all right, if you just let me live a little bit longer, you know? Main character felt like he was sort of Timu Jack Sparrow, but with the Force, which was a little unexpected. but he ended up being a Padawan for a little bit. I will say, the robot, I can't say I remember no acting, you know? The robot was sick. SM33, I think his name was. I really wish, bro. I'll keep it a buck, man. I bought this a while ago. I bought this in May. So I bought this way before I watched the show, but it was like 20% off at my Lego store, so I got the points. Bro, the Onyx Cinder, bro, this thing is a fucking beast. No cap. This is probably my favorite non-like Republic ship. You know? This thing is a fucking... Bro, you have the engines, you have like the cockpit and everything. Like, bro. It's got an interior. Like, this shit is mint, bro. Sick build too. Insane techniques. At least like for me. Maybe I just don't have the ball knowledge yet, you know, as I'm slowly building up my Lego empire, as you see in the back. And by empire, I just mean a bunch of Lego sets. But yeah, I mean, the Onyx Cinder I thought was really cool. There was a lot of really cool things. Like, the main character, like the main adult dude, he had like a bunch of names. I'm going to call him Crimson Jack because I think that was one of his names. The main thing is that, like, bro, Crimson Jack, the main, like, balding dude, he was, like, pretty interesting in terms of a character. They try to aura farm a little too much with, like, having very slow pandering scenes with his, like, back there, and then he turns around and does something like, ooh, you know? But him being a genuine bad guy, like, not a good person, killing people in a kid's show, it was kind of aura, you know? So I think Crimson Jack here did enough to be like unique, and it was very unique. You know, I wasn't expecting this when I saw something like Skeleton Crew being made. Would I prefer a storyline / show based on any of the clone commanders over Skeleton Crew? Yeah. You know, like if you gave me a Commander Cody fucking how he became a commander as episodes, I'm watching that 10 times out of 10 instead of Skeleton Crew. But I think Skeleton Crew is, like, nice for the universe. It's something interesting. And I know some people are really sick of just seeing a bunch of Force users being around, even though the Empire is supposed to, like, pretty much eradicate them all. And there wasn't that many Jedi to begin with. But it's not like this guy was a Jedi. This guy was, like, a half-baked Padawan that never got full training. So all he can really do is Force lift and Force push. But, you know, the ending was really shit. It really left a lot to be desired. They finished with, like, all the characters in the destroyed city. Not like, we'll rebuild and everything will go back to as it was. It was literally like, planet went to shit, they stopped the bad guys, good guys showed up, and everyone survives. And then it just fucking cuts. It literally cuts. You don't see the criminals get arrested. You don't see the Republic take over the planet. You don't see what the plan is for the rest of the planet. Maybe they're saving that for a season 2. But I thought Skeleton Crew was like, you know, I thought it was like if I had a son, and I'm looking at this as like bad, I would never show my son, and anything below that, you can forget about it. I wouldn't mind showing my son Skeleton Crew. You know, like a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, I wouldn't mind showing him that. There were some funny moments. You know, there was a hut at the spa trying to eat one of the employees instead of the meal he brought. You know, there's that big octopus dude. You know, the SM33, like one really bad arc was when they went to, I forget what the planet was, but it's like the planet that wasn't theirs, but it's the budget cut version. That planet arc I thought was shit, having like kids be in the military and everything. And like them forcing combat and then just all of a sudden they don't have to fight because the other side is now willing to accept terms. It was weird. It felt really forced. It felt really fast. I get what the point was, because the whole point was so that they could get a background knowledge, so when they return to their planet, they can be like, oh, this is where this gun is, where we can go to and, you know, do that. But yeah, I just thought it was like pretty shit arc. But, you know, that was about an episode long, and everything else was pretty alright. I thought the owl chick was alright, you know? And if they did, like, when I'm looking at this, I'm not buying any Lego set, right? I've been buying a lot of Lego sets recently, but I'm not buying any product from the prequels, or the sequels. I'm not buying anything from the sequels. I don't give a fuck about anything. They could release... Bro, like, Kylo Ren's shuttle just came out. Kylo Ren's Masters came out. I ain't buying none of that dog shit, okay? When I see a Skeleton Crew, if they were like, oh, we're releasing the fucking, a UCS scale freighter, that Crimson Jack used, or like that wolf guy, I don't remember, I think his name was, what was his name, Brutus? Pretty sick name, by the way. That wolf dude, Brutus, when he was driving the ship, I will say the costumes looked like a decade behind the times. Was that just me? Like, those costumes look like they're a decade old. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But, Brutus, like, his whole big-ass fucking ship, or if they release, like, the dock as a UCS set, or if they release, you know, if they release, if you don't know, like, spoilers, obviously. I mean, if you clicked on this not expecting spoilers, you're out of your mind, but the Onyx Cinder has, like, this is the outside crust. If they release the ship where it's the inside of it, like that chrome ship, I wouldn't mind buying it, to be honest with you. If they release a set with like SM33 at like a decent, you know, 11 to 15 cent, I'm Canadian by the way, 15 cent like price per piece max. If you're Lego, by the way, obviously 10 cents per piece, okay, or 9 cents, okay, but you know, to the boys, if it's 11 to 15 cents, you know, with an SM33 unit and like some sort of scene from something from the show, I don't mind buying it. I think it was pretty fine overall. You know, the owl chick, you know, her whole center. You know, SM33 does carry the show a lot, man. Like, SM33 is... Bro, he had so much aura in the show. That fight scene where he fucking beats the shit out of the pirates, he's getting shot at and whips out, like, fucking shields on his arms. And as they're, like, getting heated up because it's receiving blaster shots, he, like, burns the face of one of the criminals. Bro, the show kind of had some fucking aura moments. I'm not gonna lie, okay? And I had a lot of really good moments. Very unique 7 to 9 out of 10 moments. But as a concept, it was also pretty good. But as, like, the show went on, kind of felt like they stuck with whatever the presence of the character was. You know, like, it felt like Brutus was always going to be a side character and not really a main villain. But it also, like, the parents I thought they were all right. I thought it was kind of cool how they were trying to find ways to contact the Republic or whatever and get the message out that their kids are gone. But I just... like, the ending was really bad, man. Like, there was very little to any conclusion at all. There was not a whole lot of explaining throughout the show. Like, they tried to explain some things, like, oh, if you had a key, why didn't you just use the Force? Or if you have a Force, why didn't you just use the Force to get yourself out? What good's getting out without a ship? You know, when Crimson Jack's, like, escaping. But, like, I mean, you couldn't have just stole a ship? I don't know. Like, stuff like that was just like, eh, I mean, you might fool the kids, but you're not fooling me. Okay, Disney, Star Wars. But overall, I thought the story was pretty alright, you know? The betrayal moments, a lot of the Pirates of the Caribbean's feel, it definitely felt a lot like Pirates, you know? They had snub fighters. Yeah, there's a lot of, like, good moments, but there's also some shit moments, like the planet they went to. Overall, I think it's if you are a Star Wars fan, I would say it's worth a watch one time through. But if you're, like, a Star Wars fan and you want to do catch up, or, like, you're itching to maybe rewatch Clone Wars, rewatch Rebels, rewatch any of the Core 6 movies, Rogue One or Solo, because you just want a Star Wars thing, I'd watch those before watching Skeleton Crew. It's definitely Star Wars, but it's not like a... It's not gonna blow my socks off, you know what I mean? Like, it's something where I think it probably won't age better or worse over time. Whatever it is now is probably how people are going to see it. It might age a little bit better. People might come around a little bit more. That's what it reminded me of. It reminded me a lot of Spy Kids. Is that just me? Like, this show felt like the Spy Kids with a Pirates of the Caribbean theme and a Star Wars, like, tone. Or a Star Wars set, you know? But a Spy Kids sort of plot line, you know? So, that's kind of, like, I'm talking the OG Spy Kids. I'm not talking about any of the new shit they did. I haven't watched Spy Kids in forever. The last Spy Kids movie I watched was The People with the Thumbs. It reminded me a lot like that Spy Kids. Or like a Shark Boy and Lava Girl. But doesn't remind me... It's not like that good. You know? Like, Out of everything Disney's made, especially in recent history, I think it's probably one of the better things. Like, if this was a Disney tier list, this is probably going at like 7. Yeah, I'd probably put it. I wouldn't. Yeah, it'd probably be a 7 out of 10. Probably wouldn't be any higher than that. But yeah, I mean, I get to watch the rest of the shows. I'm watching through Mandalorian now. Technically, first time watching the whole thing. I did watch it very early on, like 3 years ago, but I forgot everything that happened in the first season. Well, I only watched the first season, but I forgot everything that happened, so I'm rewatching it. Andor, I didn't watch the whole thing. Gotta rewatch that. What else was there? Ahsoka, Acolyte, but yeah. I will be reviewing every single Star Wars show. That is something I have a goal on this channel to do, so yeah, that's been my review of Skeleton Crew. I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's like horrible. I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10 maybe, but I'll put it in the I category. I'll put it above Clone Wars movie. For me personally, I could see it above there, but Rebels does have Maul, so you gotta pay the Maul tax, baby. Maul takes priority here. But yeah, so if you made it all the way to the end of the video, I want to thank you for watching. Maybe leave your thoughts and opinions on the show yourself, Skeleton Crew, in the comments, and I'll see if I'm delusional or not. But yeah, thank you for watching, and as always, I hope you have a good day.